What's up? Let me turn this music down. What's happening? What's happening? Man, I had a crazy couple of weeks, guys. Crazy couple of weeks. Absolutely crazy. I was sick. Talk about the Medford trash. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. A lot of people have emailed me about that. I'll tell you what, though. I've gotten more emails about these tax overrides than I anticipated. I've had so many people reach out to me from so many towns to cover the tax override situation. And, you know, obviously I'm in a position where can I cover it? Absolutely. But obviously people from my own town want me to cover it. And I don't think they would like what I have to say. I think a lot of people know my positions on the overrides. Obviously, my kids go to school, you know, that are affected by these overrides in a lot of these towns. But it is what it is. Hi from Stoneham. What's up? How was Thanksgiving? And then I'll get into what the hell happened to me. Holy shit. I've been, no joke. This is what happened. Okay, let me explain a story here. So back during Halloween, my wife decided, well, we always have a little Halloween party, okay? But there was a lot of kids over. And I don't know what the hell I thought I was getting poisoned by the legislature. I'm not going to lie. I was out of it, okay? The last couple of weeks have been absolutely atrocious. And these things compounded, okay? These things have compounded. So after Halloween, you know, a couple days go by, and I start to get a little bit of a cough, a little bit of mucus, you know, so on and so forth. I'm still going to the gym. I've been going to a gym in Winchester for, I don't know, maybe the last 3 to 4 months, I would say. It's a CrossFit gym. And as you guys know, I have absolutely awful arthritis, okay? Left hip has been replaced already. I'm going to be like a half robot in about 5 years. I have no doubt about that. So what happened was I thought I just had a cold. And I just let this cold go. It was a week, then it was like a week and a half, and I'm like, Jesus, what is going on? So I went to the store, I went to Walgreens or CVS, I picked up Mucinex, and I picked up like this Advil cold and sinus. Started taking that, started to clear up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty good here. Well, lo and behold, about a week and a half, well, what would it be? Yeah, about a week and a half ago, I missed the gym for like a week, okay? And then I went to the gym about a week and a half ago because I felt a little bit better. Went to the gym and it was a crazy day, okay? It was a crazy day. I didn't try to push myself, but I tried to keep up. And I was there, and about halfway through, the set, I told the coach I got to go to the bathroom. Went to the bathroom, thrown up in the damn bathroom. And not because I was sick to my stomach or because I had the flu, but just because I was a pile of absolute garbage and I just had all this mucus and all this other stuff. So I'm like, how the hell? I'm like, you know, I missed many days at the gym, and I'm thinking to myself, am I like back at square one here? Like, did I lose what I've gained over the last couple months because I took a couple days off because I didn't feel good? So I cleaned myself off, you know, rinsed my face with cold water, went back out, finished the day, and I came home. That was on Wednesday or Thursday. Friday is the day that I think I posted on X and YouTube and whatever, and I was a pile of shit. I was a legit pile of shit. The $200,000 man, yeah, okay. I was a pile of shit. So I went to the doctor. I went to urgent care because trying to get in with your primary care physician in Massachusetts, better chance of winning the Powerball. Okay, you literally have a better chance of winning the Powerball than trying to get in with your primary care physician. You could be dead. You'll be dead, okay, before you get in with them. So went to urgent care. They did an x-ray. on me. Of course, they checked everything else. They did an x-ray on my chest because they thought I had pneumonia. I had fluid in my lungs. Thank God I didn't have pneumonia. But they ended up putting me on 3 different medications, okay? I had amoxicillin, I had something else for the cough, and then for the first time in my life, and this is funny, not for me, but maybe for you, they put me on an inhaler. Now, I've never had an inhaler in my entire life. I don't know how to operate an inhaler. I have no idea. So they tell me, do the inhaler twice a day, 3 times a day. Clear the air out of your lungs, and then use the inhaler. Mike, your Wi-Fi and you're getting static? Really? I'll get to that, okay? My computer is not in the greatest shape, all right? We'll get to that. So anyway, I take my medication, and I'll get to the inhaler. So after that appointment, I end up going to another doctor that I think, Joan Quinn Eastman, who is part of Boston Broadside. Can't talk today, it's been a while since I've been on camera, so bear with me. I go down to Norwood, which is about 45 minutes away from me, and there, they put me on an IV saline vitamin drip of all these, crazy stuff. And I felt a lot better. And I didn't want to go, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to go to just some random place to get some kind of IV drip therapy, because I would automatically assume if they spotted me, I probably wouldn't be here today. Okay. I wasn't just letting anybody inject me with whatever. All right. So I found some decent people, and they did me up. Okay. I felt great after I got out of there. But anyway, I started taking the inhaler, and nobody told me this. Absolutely nobody told me this, but there's a steroid in this thing. And I would do it in the morning, I would do it in the afternoon, and then I would do it before I went to bed. Now, I failed to mention that this other place that gave me the IV drip, they said I should take vitamin D. So back when I was younger, I actually got prescribed vitamin D, and throughout the years, I stopped taking it. So I got vitamin D supplement, and I got a vitamin B supplement. They said, take these. So anyway, the first night, I tried going to bed. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I usually go to bed, like I'm laying in bed probably by like 9:30, 10. I tried to fall asleep by at least 11 o'clock. So I'm laying there in bed, and I'm like, I'm tired, but I can't fall asleep. I'm like, what is going on? Is it this? Is it this? I didn't know what was happening. The next day, same thing happens. I told my wife, Mia, I'm like, Mia, I think I have, like, first of all, I have bad insomnia to begin with. All right. So again, I cannot fall asleep. I wear a Garmin watch all the time, and it, shows me when I fall asleep. I'm falling asleep at 1:30 in the freaking morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up. I feel like a pile of shit. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, then what happens? Was my chat not on the screen? Oh, there we go. So anyway, I find out one of my friends, that's a nurse, I told her about this, and she's like, oh, it's the steroid. There's the inhaler. There's a steroid in that. So, I spent many, many nights where I only slept like 4 or 5 hours, felt like absolute shit. It was awful. But I do feel a little bit better. Yeah, it was menopause for sure. But anyway, yeah, it was nuts. So now I feel better. I'm not 100%. I went to the gym one day this week just to see how I felt, because I figured I'd get a fresh week this week coming up, because it was a holiday. I had stuff to do with the kids. We had a little get-together, like a Friendsgiving and stuff like that. So long story short, I went to the gym. I actually felt great. But yesterday I felt a little shitty, so I hope it's not coming back. But this cold, I mean, it was roid rage, for sure. It was roid rage, yes. Nah, bro, I don't take anything. I don't know if you know this, but I've told this story before. I'm not going to tell it again. I took a supplement a number of years ago that ended up killing me, okay? It almost killed me. I was out of it, man. I was sick for a year. It was awful. So, yeah, that's it. So what's up, everybody? How was your Thanksgiving? Get away from the systems. Yeah, I hear you. Vitamins and natural homeopathic remedies are the way to go unless you absolutely need medication. I absolutely needed a antibiotic, because in the morning, I would spend an hour in the morning with like the saline stuff up my nose. it just coughing up just absolute atrocious mucus. Okay, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. So anyway, then this is what happens next. You know, I'm starting to feel better. I go on my computer and I filmed, you know, video at what it was at the end of last week or whatever it was. I can't even remember if I filmed this week. And while I'm filming and like just trying to do some edits, I don't know if you've been noticing, but I've been editing my videos a little bit because I've been, a lot of people been, you know, saying they're too long. There's not enough breaks. So whatever. And I want to provide some receipts. So yes, sick of Massachusetts. What is the static noise? What are you guys talking about? Static noise? You guys are hearing static? Static noise. Stop the static. Okay, we have a static problem. What the hell is happening with the static? What is happening with the static? Hang on. Let me see it. Let me pull up my stream on YouTube so I could actually hear what the hell is going on. I'm going to get to the stat. This may be a problem, by the way, okay? This may actually be one of my problems that I'm going to talk about. So my computer, my CPU in my computer sounded like a jet engine. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? What is it? Hang on. I'm going to get to the stat. This may be a problem, by the way, okay? I don't hear any static. Are you sure it's not your computer? Because I'm listening now. Do you guys still hear static? Because I just listened to myself and I don't hear a damn thing. Sounds... All right, yep, getting some static noises? Like you're on... Oh, lots of static feedback. Maybe restart the live every minute or two? Huh. Let me go back. Hang on. Guys, I am... Back when I was younger, I actually got prescribed Vicodin. Hang on. Back when I was a half robot. I don't hear shit. I don't hear anything. It's intermittent. You're being hacked. Oh, I'll talk about that too. I got a lot to talk about today, okay? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of shit going on. So I go to film and I'm like, what is happening to my computer? Right next to me. It's a decent computer, and the fans that cool my CPU sounded like a jet engine. So I brought, you know, I'm decent with computers. I brought up like a thermal thing on my computer, and it's like my CPU with like very light load was throttling terribly. And maybe that's happening now, but I undervolted my CPU. Basically, long story short, I need to do some upgrades here. I want to get, you know, I want to upgrade my stream for 2026. I want to get a better camera, maybe a little bit better lighting, fix this computer problem that I have, and that's it. Sorry, guys. I don't know what we, bro. I'm telling you, they're probably hacking the system. Okay, because I cannot tell you. There's somebody out there every single day. I get and I barely use Facebook, guys, but I get a password reset on my Facebook account every single day, all the time. People are trying to hack my Facebook account. Also, people are trying to hack my TikTok account, which I barely use. Like, I barely use both of these things. But I went to go log into TikTok the other day, and it said too many password attempts. So, yeah. I don't know. No, it's definitely not a card issue. I don't think it's my video card. I doubt it. But I have a really good video card. I actually have a really good computer, but I'd like to get some upgrades for my computer. I would actually switch out my motherboard, my CPU, probably keep the same GPU because it's good. Let me see here. Let me read some comments. All right. And then we're going to get to it. Intro ever. But I want to see what IP add you in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I would say in terms of my health, I'm probably at, I still have the arthritis. I still have the hip, joint replacements that are necessary. I'm getting there. But I would say I'm maybe at 80 or 85%. All right. The computer, undervolted, working on the CPU stuff. I'm actually going to check the temperatures right now. Hang on. And let's see where we're at. I mean, this shit was like, it sounded like a jet engine. It was nuts. No, my CPU's, let's see. It's actually pretty, no, it's 76 degrees right now. That's not too bad, although I don't have many tabs open here. 78, 76, Apparently, Intel CPUs suck. Yeah. You guys ever see this? Yes. This is the Massachusetts debt clock. Have you guys ever seen this? Maybe an earbud is on? I don't know. Bluetooth can mess with the mic frequencies, I believe. Man, I don't know. These are wired. Check this out. So about 7 million population, 150,000 unemployed, 1.128 million food stamp recipients. Look at our spending. Look at our spending versus in-state revenue. Now, a lot of states have these issues. Okay, let's be fair. A lot of states have these issues. The only difference is Massachusetts is in the top, I think, 6 or 7 in terms of debt. So you wonder what the hell is going on here? Yeah, it's a problem. Debt, $15,471. It's a problem, guys. And as you noticed, our budget just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the number one culprit of that budget is the healthcare. The healthcare is outrageous. It is absolutely an outrageous part of the budget. They need to fix this shit. They need to do something. They need to cut spending. And the crazy thing is here, let me show you this. Maura Healey, let's see. Government employment since taking office as... Let's see if we can find this. Maura Healey has added so many government jobs. It's absolutely nuts. She has hired over 8,000 people. 8,000 people. So you think to yourself, 8,000 people, calculator. 8,000 people, okay? The average salary, and I know this, you could fact check me if you want. The average salary of a state employee is $95,000. There you go. That's the number. That's how much she's spending on state employees that she has hired. Almost $1 billion, okay? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's nuts. I think the static guy is the chat. Intel is better than AMD, so I stick with Intel and I build custom PC. 76 degrees is nothing for a CPU. Yeah, I don't disagree, but I'm not doing anything crazy here, right? Like, dude, it was getting up over 100 degrees. It was nuts. And I know Intel CPUs can handle it, but the amount of throttling and the amount of noise that it takes to get to that point. So my R30, my Cinebench scores with my undervolting is roughly around maybe 29 to 30,000. I have an i9 13900KF, which is a really good CPU. But this thing cooks, man. It's bad. That's why I wanted to switch over to AMD, so it would be like quieter and cooler and get the same level or better performance. I understand 760 million is not $1 billion. I'm saying it's close to $1 billion, right? It's still a lot of freaking money. That's the point. It's a lot of freaking money. I don't think anybody could disagree that it is a lot of freaking money, okay? It's a lot of money. But anyway, yeah, quite a bit of debt here. Now, here's one thing I wanted to show you. Did you ever go to this website? Now, again, I'm always very of data, the methodology behind collecting data and all of that other stuff. Because a lot of times these websites and data could be manipulated very easily, but it's still a data point. So if you go to, let's see here, moving maps. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it shows a graph of like migration, net migration, meaning people that left but also entered the state. So since 2012 to 2022, that's what this is from. And if you look at this, I don't know if you could see this, Massachusetts has lost almost 284,000 people since 2012. Now, this is only attributing up to 2022. So yes, we could have gained people between the years of 23 to 25, or like the end of 25, let's say. But when you go to money, it shows you the amount of revenue that has been lost. Okay, we've lost over $19 billion. $19 billion. That is a lot of money. And again, that is net adjusted gross income. Now, something to consider here is that I believe in 2023 is when we introduced the millionaire's tax. So we did get a bump up because of that. But the problem is, and everybody knows this, is that you cannot keep, we have an issue keeping people here. That is a big part of the problem. People my age and younger are moving out of here. It's a massive problem, guys. We cannot retain talent because they come here for school. This is the way it works in Massachusetts, right? People will come here, they will go to school, they will vote blue, they will find out after they graduate from school that the job that they just went to school for, it's not enough money to be able to afford to live here. So they vote here, they vote these lunatics in, and then that's what is happening. That's what is happening. Yes, 19 billion. You want to see something even crazier? Here's California. 102 billion. 102 billion. Yep. Connecticut is 12 billion. New York, 111 billion. How many people have left? Let's see. California's lost 1.6 million people. 1.6 million. That's insane. New York is, oh my God. New York, wait, let's see Illinois. Illinois is like a battle zone, okay? Chicago, I'll tell you what, Mayor Wu is bad, but their mayor of Chicago, I mean, this guy might be even worse, okay? I hate to say it, but I think he's even worse than Wu. He is bad, okay? Chicago, I've been to Chicago. When I was in Chicago, I was at a real estate convention maybe 7 years ago. The National Association of Realtors had a real estate convention there. Maybe it was 6. Yeah, no, it had to be longer than that. Maybe 8 or 9 years ago, actually. Wow, time goes by so fast. Anyway, I was there. I hit all the hot spots. I had the pizza and all that stuff. But when I was there, I'm like, you put the news on, there's a car burning, body found in a dumpster. It's nuts. It's nuts. Bro, could you tune into your system another tab because the static is really annoying? Man, I don't hear any static. I don't know what. This is why I hate live streaming. Hang on. Oh, wait, I hear it. You know what? I hear this. I heard it. It's every so often. I heard it. I just heard it. Why is that happening? Hang on. I'm sorry about the static, guys. Static sound randomly occurs when streaming. I have no idea why this is happening when I stream. It seems completely random. It's almost electric static. What kind of mic? Let's see here. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, guys. I suck. Okay? I'm the worst at streaming ever. But I heard it. It's like every so often. Let me check my... I mean... Yeah, I gotta get... Like I said, my CPU... My computer's messed up, guys. I apologize. My computer is messed up. What can I say? Microphone is okay. I apologize. Oh, I wish I could fix it. I don't know what to do, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's just keep going. So here's, let me go to X. Somebody tagged me in this. So finally, okay, I filmed this video. I filmed a video on these overrides. How long ago? What was it? 3 or 4 weeks ago? Finally, they're starting to catch on. Finally, people are starting to talk about this stuff. These overrides in these towns, this is what needs to happen with the overrides, okay? Number one, there should be, all of these towns should have to submit their budgets to me, okay? Submit your budgets to me. They should also submit them to the state. I want to see if there is a correlation between these towns. I want to see how much government aid these towns are receiving in terms of percentages and dollar amounts. Cross-reference that with their budgets, okay? I want to cross-reference that with their budgets and see if there is a correlation between all of these budgets, because we cannot have over 50-plus towns. It's not even that there's 50, how many towns are there? How many municipalities are there in Massachusetts? 350, 351, 352? There's over 50 that are looking for tax overrides that people can't afford, okay? They're looking for it in my town. People want me to cover videos on this, but obviously, I don't want my schools to lose their teachers. I don't want them to lose these things, okay, because my kids go to school here. But the other fact is, you can't just keep on asking the taxpayers year after year for overrides. Like, something needs to happen here. Absolutely, something needs to happen. So anyway, now we're finally getting to a point. CBS Boston has covered this. I've seen some other news stations cover this. Why did they not cover this months ago or weeks ago? I've known about this for a while. I didn't want to talk about it because I knew what would happen. And what happened, what I thought would happen, happened, where people are emailing me from my own town, you know, trying to influence the override votes. I don't want to have to influence any override votes because it's just, I feel like the overrides, first of all, it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the town that these overrides are happening. There's absolutely no doubt about it. The people that want the overrides are people that obviously, like me, have kids in the schools. I'm not saying I'm an advocate for an override. I'm just saying that a lot of people that send their kids to school, it's a needs basis, okay? You know, you don't want to see your teachers or your town lose the money, or things close, libraries are closing, whatever. But on the other hand, if you pass the override, it's a double-edged sword, because what happens is, if you decide to pass the override, there's a high probability that if you pass the override year one, this is my opinion, I could be completely wrong, but I feel as though if you pass an override, the town is only going to try to do another override, if they need it or not, to act as like a failsafe, okay? To act as a failsafe for potential future override. I just feel like that opens a floodgate, all right? But these towns need help. And who should be supporting these towns is the governor. They should be sending more money back to these damn towns. It's absolutely outrageous. Let's watch this clip really quickly.
Where is all the money? So I met Stan at a coffee shop where he told me his daughter-in-law is a teacher, and she's always talking about teachers being let go, positions not being filled.
Yeah, it's nuts.
He told me that he sees on the news firehouses that need to be replaced but never are because there's not enough money. I actually went to a firehouse in the town of Plimpton where the chief showed me how they cut a hole in the back wall just deep enough that the fire engine can go backwards, snug into that hole, to give just enough room for an ambulance to back in. By the way, in that town, they didn't have enough money for a new firehouse.
A new firehouse. All right, let's be fair here, okay? That a new firehouse so you can fit your vehicles is that's a lot. All right, they need to figure something out with the vehicle situation, right?
I spoke with a group called MMA. No, it's not mixed martial arts. It's Massachusetts Municipal Association, and they just put out a report entitled "The Perfect Storm: An Historic Fiscal Crisis." Well, I found out cities and towns usually get about 20% of...
You should have found out months ago, man, or weeks ago when I did the video. This has been going on forever. It's just getting exponentially worse.
...of their money from the state. And I'm talking unrestricted
wait.
crisis. Well, I found out cities... fiscal crisis. An historic fiscal crisis. Well, I found out cities and towns usually get about 20% of their money from the state. And I'm talking unrestricted, do whatever you want with it type of money.
I think it's actually a little bit more than that, but that's pretty close.
They call it UGA. That's unrestricted general government aid. Well, remember that perfect storm report I talked about? Well, that says that right now, when you factor in inflation, which is rising, most cities and towns are getting about 35% less money than they were getting 20 years ago.
Yes.
Record scratch, game over, case closed. Obviously, the state's not giving enough money to the cities and towns. But wait, I reached out to the governor's office, which said the cities and towns get a lot more money than just that unrestricted money. They also get Chapter 70 money, which goes specifically to schools. They get Chapter 90 money, which specifically goes to local roads. And oh, by the way, a lot of
local roads. Local roads. My road, it's like the Dukes of Hazzard. It's been like the Dukes of Hazzard for years. Okay? The lines. They replaced the gas lines. They replaced the water lines. And it is legit. Like, I've been on dirt roads that are in better condition than the roads in a lot of these towns. These roads are atrocious here. You ever drive through Connecticut? Okay. Now, Connecticut is obviously an offender as well. Okay. That's another state that's an offender. But I feel like the roads in Connecticut are 65 to 75% better than the roads in Massachusetts. They are. Okay. They do all this road work. As a matter of fact, they were doing road work in my town for months. I'm wrong. I guess you could say it was for months because they could only do it, I think, in the summertime and like before the ground freezes. But the traffic, and then once they're done, the roads, they don't fix them. It's just like a patchwork everywhere. And then they have to go back in sometimes and tear up the asphalt that they just replaced. It's crazy.
That money comes from the millionaire's tax. So why are cities and towns seemingly broke? I've heard a few theories on this. Number one, the state is just spending way too much money on other things.
That is the number one problem. The state it's not other things. It's that, and it's not about the spending, it's about the priorities. The state is spending things on pet projects and things that they deem necessary. The problem is, all of the stuff that they deem necessary is outside of the scope of helping the taxpayer. That is the problem, okay? That is the problem. They are spending an enormous amount of money on ridiculous things. As I said earlier, hiring 8,000 people. Hiring 8,000 people since you've taken office. He's like ridiculous. Either they're advocacy groups, it's this DEI thing, it's outrageous, and they're paying these people a ton of money. It's outrageous.
I heard a lot of complaints about the emergency shelters that were set up
during
the migrant crisis. Number two, the state auditor wants to look for waste and fraud, and a ballot question said that she should be able to audit the legislature, but they're not letting her do it. And number three, maybe it's just the municipalities blowing through their budget.
Here's my opinion. Those three things, if you were to quantify all three of those things, okay, you have number one, the amount of money that is going back to the towns. Number two, you have waste and fraud. And number three, you have budget mismanagement. If I were to give you percentages of all three, number one would definitely be the money getting to these towns, all right? That is, I think, in my opinion, the number one component. The number two is absolutely waste and fraud on not a municipal or city or neighborhood level, but on a state government level. And budget mismanagement, I would say maybe that's 10%. You don't have every single like, how could 50 plus towns be that shitty with their budgets? Okay. Like, I just don't. And remember, years ago, we had maybe 15 or 18 towns. I don't remember what I said on the video. Obviously, I had the data a little bit in my brain at the time. But it's gone up exponentially. So what is next year going to be? 75 towns? The year after that is going to be 100 towns. The next year it's going to be 120. This is like a ticking time bomb. It's bad.
Through mismanagement. We've been doing a story about one town that's getting rid of school employees because they bungled the budget. So what is it? I know one thing. You at home are probably saying right now, I don't have the money.
Exactly. So this was posted by to CBS Boston is doing a deep dive after painstaking going through all the different revenue streams. I would love if your town has send me all of the budgeting information from your town. I want to see, because look at it this way. If I only look at my town, I need something as like that would be okay as a starting point. But if you look at multiple towns, you could kind of draw a line where there is either mismanagement or they're not getting enough money from the state. So like, this is what I think should happen. Somebody should look into this and look at the analytics behind this and compare the budgets between towns to see if there is mismanagement. What is the number one culprit of these budgets being so far behind? Number two, see if you could draw a correlation between how, actually, you know what too? I think a whole state audit, like the audit, I don't know if this would be a forensic audit or not, but you need the towns that are behind on budget, but you also need the towns that are not behind on budget. You need both, because you need to draw a correlation between those two. And on top of that, the amount of money that the state is actually giving back to these towns. Okay. So for instance, is it the, let's say, towns that maybe don't generate enough revenue? Maybe they're not as wealthy, that don't need budget overrides. Maybe the taxes are a little bit higher there. You know, maybe like a Belmont or a Lexington or a Brookline, maybe they don't need budget overrides because they collected an enormous amount of taxes. Maybe they do. But I would love to see how much money they're also getting back from the state. Okay? Because here's what I think would happen. And this is just my opinion, but like, if you look at a town like let's do a hypothetical here. Let's use Lexington as an example. If Lexington, which has a lot of money, they have a lot of taxes that they have to pay for. If they're getting more money back than disenfranchised neighborhoods, we have a problem. Okay? I think that there's a problem there, right? And that would be very bad. Like if you saw Lexington getting 35% back and you saw Lowell getting 10% back, we have a problem. Right? You see what I'm saying there? So somebody needs to have an overarching view of what the hell. Mass Fiscal does this. I'll reach out to Mass Fiscal. I talked to Paul about this. Maybe he has some of this data. I don't think they publish. The other thing is, as well, is I don't know if that, John, is that data published publicly? Like, I don't even know if that's published publicly. The state auditor wants to look for waste and fraud in the ballot question. It is absolutely unbelievable that the audit... you should see my phone. Somebody's calling me from New York. It says, I don't know if you can see this. It says, this is a sales call. You see this? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not looking to buy anything. But anyway, yeah, I think the audit is a perfect example of mismanagement. Like, they won't let this audit go through. Actually, let me pull up Diana. So, let's see here. This was a good one. All right, they have the ballot question for the public records law reform. 83%. 83% supports this. 83%. I bet if Diana were to go back and if she were to, if the audit was on the ballot today after what happened, I think you would see I think over 80% of the state would want to see the audit, because over 80% of the state knows that something is going on. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Like, getting the audit passing by 72% of voters or 73% of voters, and then not being able to do it, the AG, Maura Healey, all these people putting up roadblocks. The longer the time goes by, two things happen. Number one, the public is very curious of why they won't let the audit go through. At least I am. I think that suspicion is even, it makes them look even worse. But number two, I think it also provides an opportunity for the legislature to shred some documents, which is also a problem, right? And then you have this is like the what's her name? Karen Spilka. Is it Karen? Yeah. She's like the final boss of this audit, all right? This is what she said. She has no idea what happens in the Senate. She was a state, wasn't she a state rep for like 10 years? How could she not know what happens in the Senate? Actually, let me pull that up. Hold on. This is the ultimate Karen, okay? This is the ultimate Karen. Here we go. Did you guys see this? I'll play this too.
Your office, for the governor's office, for
my
the
bad.
speaker's office to be subject to open records laws.
Again, you know, I haven't looked at the language in the ballot initiative. That we certainly will. We certainly will, and take a look and see how that may or the language may or may not fit in.
Imagine not wanting an audit to try to see if there's waste, fraud, and abuse so that you could support your town's money. How long are they going to let this keep on going and going and going?
To the issue of the audit, which kind of like hangs there like this, voters voted for it overwhelmingly. Why is it not in practice?
Several reasons. First of all, along the way, the voters were not told that we already do an audit. We have been doing an annual audit by a certified, non-political public accountant that does the audit on their own, and when it's done, we post it online. So anybody, including the auditor, can go on the Senate Clerk's website and see our annual audits. In addition, we post all of our invoices, our procedures, our...
So she's, by her saying this, she's also like self-identifying that they're doing an audit already internally. So if they're already doing an audit internally, are they so against the auditor from doing her audit? You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If it's that easy, then why are they giving her such a problem to actually do the audit? I think it's because, and sorry, I was thinking about what I wanted to say here. So every single report that the auditor has put through, almost every single one, think about the hotels, the Healy hotels, when she audited those with all the no bid contracts. That was a bad look for the governor, okay? Number two, she audited the Mass Save program. That was a bad look for the governor as well, because Mass Save is giving more money to wealthy towns and less money to poorer towns that are being subsidized for the wealthier towns. So by her saying that we already have an audit, but meanwhile blocking the audit, do you see what's going on there? It doesn't make any sense. If they were that open, if the books were that open, then why not just let the auditor do the damn audit?
Purchases, our salaries, all of our financial information is on the comptroller's website. So if she wanted to do something, she could take a look at that stuff. Anybody could take a look at it, and it's there to see. It's totally transparent.
Yeah,
we
okay.
have really worked hard to increase transparency. I'm really proud of
You have the least transparent legislature, or one of the least transparent legislatures in the entire country. You're voting on bills at 2 o'clock in the morning that you just got put on your desk, okay? How could you possibly how could you possibly know if something is a good or bad idea just by looking at a bill for 5 frickin' seconds?
the rules that we ended up changing this year. For many, many years, the Senate was pushing to have all of our votes online, committee public testimony, and summaries online. That now exists, so we have become much more transparent. The Senate every Monday posts on all social media the week ahead, the hearings, so that people know what hearings, what issues are going to be discussed and debated, and we're continually doing more.
But when people don't hear you say, yes, the governor's office, the legislative leader should be subject to open records laws, period, they wonder why.
Here we go.
What would you say to them?
Well, I think that we need to take a look at the language. I mean, we do a lot of policy and we do a lot of things, a lot of areas, but we will take a look at it.
She has no idea what the hell she's talking about. I mean, like, she has no freaking clue. She has no clue. She's skirting around the question is what's happening. Skirting around the question. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable. Here we go. It says the document the auditor matters a public record in every other entity that actually follows the public records laws. So she's suing, I think she's suing the Attorney General and also using the public records laws as a backup to trying to pass this. So if the public, she's basically just getting more and more ammunition to make the legislature look worse and worse. That's what's happening. Because if you have a 72 voter passed audit and an 83+% voter passed public record laws, and they won't let either happen, you know that there's a problem. Okay? You know that there's a problem. Lots of corruption with Mass Save. Yeah, Mass Save is ridiculous. You know what's crazy that I'm going to probably do a longer format video on? Is the... I covered this before, but the attorneys that are getting paid, what is it, $65 an hour? Meanwhile, they're getting paid like $110 in New Hampshire that walked off the job. This is a massive issue. I covered this before, but it's funny because when you think about it, you have all these people you have all these attorneys that don't want to represent people because they're not getting paid enough money. But meanwhile, the state is doing every single thing in their power to create this fund for attorneys for illegal immigrants. You see what I'm saying? So like that's what I said about priorities before. They have the money to do that, but they don't have the money to pay these public defenders or attorneys what they potentially deserve. Like $65 an hour is pretty damn low. It's bad. It's bad. I wanted to show you guys this too. So this was a very, very well written and put together, where the hell is it? Article. This happened during the time that, what was it, a week or two ago when Mamdani met with Trump. Where the hell is it? Is it here? So, this was actually one of the best articles I read on this. I think this is it. Is this it? Yes, this is it. So, I don't know if you know this, but if you go to... Hang on. Michelle Wu. She has not posted on Twitter in forever. Let me see if she has any replies. No. March, April. So all these people, they ran over to Blue. I mean, it's pretty much a dead platform. Okay, Blue Sky is pretty. Actually, let me see this. Look at this. All right, let's go by past 90 days. This is the amount of people, like, interest over time. The blue is Twitter or X. The red is Blue Sky. Blue Sky is not looking too good. They probably had a jump when they first launched. Let's see. Let me go to all time. Past 5 years. Yeah, so they had a jump here. This is probably when they launched. But anyway, they're pretty much a dead platform. So the entire legislature is look at it this way: the entire legislature is using a dead platform to uses. On top of that, Michelle Wu. Let me get down to where it says here. Instagram has become Wu's favorite tool for digital damage control. Wu aggressively uses the platform's restrict feature, a setting that quietly hides comments from users she labels as bad actors, making their post invisible to the public unless she manually approves them. It's a censorship tool dressed up as safety, and it allows her to curate her page like a museum exhibit, polished, sanitized, and criticism free. But she can't control, and this is true, but she can't control Facebook that way. And the difference is brutal. If you go to Facebook and you look at her posts on Facebook, which I'll guarantee by this time next year, she's not going to use Facebook. Any level of negative discourse or what people think about her, she will avoid at all costs, okay? She will avoid at all costs. So she uses platforms that are sanitized, like Blue Sky, where you can't say anything at all because you'll get banned. It's Instagram, and she's only approving political posts or comments that align with hers. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'll say this. Listen, I don't agree with Mamdani's viewpoints. Okay, I think that what he wants to do, like, I think anybody would be in support for lowering the cost for people. Okay, but the problem is he wants to tax people more that are better off and give it to people that are potentially not. And that never works. Okay, socialism never works in any way, manner, or form. But I will give him credit for meeting with Trump. Okay, I will give him credit for meeting with Trump. I think that they both have their ideologies, and the path to get to where they want to go may be different. Okay, but I think that I have to give him a minor W for meeting with Trump. Wu, because I think that Mamdani knows that if he meets with Trump, and if he has, even if they don't agree ideologically on how to get there, I think that by him meeting with Trump to kind of solidify a relationship between the federal government and state government so that he could maintain getting funding from the federal government, I think that was the right call. And I think that's something Wu should think about doing too. Okay? Like, they're beholden to the federal government. Why would she want to tarnish the relationship for the people that are giving you money? We're constantly suing Trump, Wu, the AG, Healy, constantly suing Trump to try to claw back money. When you meet with people in person, when you sit and talk to people in person and have a conversation, whether it be private or public, a lot more could get done than hiding walls that you created, because all that does is disenfranchise the taxpayers in the state that you live. So even if they don't like Trump, Trump is going to be in office for the next 3 years. You see what I'm saying? They should be doing everything in their power to, even if they don't like the guy, they should be doing everything in their power to try to collaborate with them. You see what I'm saying? That's what should be done here. So that's the only W that I will give to Mamdani. Why aren't the feds getting involved with this audit? That's beyond, Mike, why aren't the feds getting involved with the audit? Okay, please stop spamming chat. I don't know why the feds aren't getting involved with the audit. I have no idea. I think that if there was like 100%, the only time the feds would get involved is if they were doing something that would warrant a federal investigation. That's my opinion. NPR is well-balanced news. I don't know about that. These news stations are doing everything in their power to try to remain in power. And they're having a lot of issues. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of these news stations that are here, a lot of these journalists, and they've left. They've left. They're gone. They either got fired or, they don't have funding. It's really wild, but it's no surprise. People don't want to hear the same thing from every single news station. That's the thing. If you go to GBH, if you go to NPR, like all of these stations, they don't want to hear the same exact thing from the same people. And they don't report on these things. I mean, just now, weeks after I created the video about the overrides, they're finally starting to talk about these towns that are going broke. Yes, like possibly embezzling federal money. I'm not claiming that's happening, but something is going on, and that's for damn sure. it's disgusting is what it is. It's sad. It's really sad. And I've said this before. I'll say it again. I don't care if it's a bill. I don't care if it's a policy. Like there's always some sort of consequence for doing something, right? Every single time. And I think that the problem with the audit is that they know that the consequences of the audit are going to be more detrimental, not to the towns, because I think that would be a benefit, but to the legislature and their spending. That's what I think. That's what I think. 100%. 100%. It's bad. It's really bad. Man. Crazy. Then I wanted to show you guys this too. Where is it? Did you guys see this? State money being withheld from Wachusett PA stance. I don't have access to this Telegram and Gazette, but anyway, what's happening is that the Maura Healey, I think that the state is using the MBTA Communities Act, because I would assume this town, let's see, is trying to oppose the, let's see. "15 towns not in compliance with the MBTA Communities Act." This must probably be one of them. But anyway, I think that they're doing, here's what's happening in a nutshell. They're doing the same exact thing that our state legislature is doing, the same exact thing Trump is doing on a federal level with our state. They are strong-arming towns that are doing everything to push back on the MBTA Communities Act by apparently not giving them money. They're withholding money from these towns. So they're doing the same exact thing that Trump is doing, just on a state level. But that's okay. It's okay for them to do that. But it's not okay for the federal government to do that, because the state doesn't align with the federal government's goals, and the federal government doesn't align with the state's goals. So they're using the same exact playbook that Trump is using by strong-arming these towns that don't want, 1,500 condos in the middle of their town, and they're not giving them any money. That's what's happening. They're using the same exact tactics, but it's okay when they do it. That's the problem. It's okay when they do it. It's not okay when Trump does it, and then they end up having to sue Trump. This could all be alleviated if Maura Healey, if Michelle Wu, if Elizabeth Warren, if Ed Markey were to sit down and have a conversation with this guy face to face and figure out how to protect the taxpayers in the state. Instead, they into oblivion, waste more money on the back end, and not get any money in return. It's outrageous. Did Mayor Wu really purchase train cars from Wuhan? So they did get train cars for the MBTA from. So I looked into this a while ago. They did get new trains from, yes, some company that was based in China. Apparently, I was reading about them. Apparently, they're supposed to be really good, but I don't know if there was a U.S.-based company that could have done it better. I'm not a train guy. I don't know much about trains. Are we still getting the static, by the way? Yeah, the debt clock. Yeah, you could go to usdebtclock.org and you could look at all the state's debts. I think we're number 6 or 7 or something like that. But yeah, it's bad. All states are behind. It's just that we're in the top 10. But yeah, it's bad. And then did you see this? Actually, wait, let me find it. Mass Daily News posted about this, so that's what I'm going to go to. Where is it? Let's see. Oh, here it is. Woke Boston, this is funny. Woke Boston City Council rebrands Thanksgiving as National Day of Mourning for the second year. Could you get any more sad than this? I said it like this. I said these people, there was a guy that was talking about this. Like, these are the same type of people that would ask their kids for consent to change their diapers. Like, that's what we're dealing with here. They are the softest people on the face of the earth. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. It's disgusting. The Boston City Council has again voted to designate Thanksgiving as a national day of mourning. Could you get any more sad than this? Like, people get together with their family. Oh, we're going to National Day of Mourning, visiting our family in Massachusetts. It's embarrassing. The 2025 resolution recognizes November 27th as a National Day of Mourning and asserts that the colonization of North America led to violence, land loss, cultural erasure. These people think that the settlers that were here, I think that they think that they just grew out of the dirt. Like, did they just grow out of the earth or something like that? Like, that's what they think. That's what they think. They think that these people were placed here or just kind of sprouted out of the damn dirt. The resolution was introduced by Council Benjamin Weber. Let's look this guy up. Oh, here we go. The Boston City Council is officially... where is this? Oh, my God. It's so sad. National Day of Mourning. Let's look this up on X. Like, we can't even go and it... Look at this. Wellesley Underground. Shots from yesterday's National Day of Mourning. Oh my God. Look at this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. I don't know, guys. I don't even... I need another coffee. National Day of Mourning. No one is illegal on stolen land. Yes, because the people just grew out of the dirt here. Oh my God. You know what? I came on here today. You know what I said to myself? I said to myself today, you know what? I'm going to go live. Maybe there's people not working. Maybe it'll be a good day. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think it is going to be a good day. Like, I'm going to be in a good mood. But after, I should have never have opened this. I should have never have opened this. Because now I'm miserable. Oh, God. Yep. This is National Day of Mourning. Oh. Oh my God. For us, it's National Day of Mourning. Fuck Thanksgiving. Yep. Environmentalist, activist. I wish I could find the clip of this guy. I wish I could find the clip because he's like, oh, here it is.
Story we tell.
Wait, let me turn it down so it don't kill you guys.
Of that first Thanksgiving between the Wampanoag tribe and Pilgrim colonists.
Could you imagine?
Covers up inconvenient truths revealed by a history where the first colonists were helped to survive in the early years, but Native Americans were repaid by gradually being pushed out of their ancestral homes. To the Native population or community, Thanksgiving doesn't represent a celebration. It is a yearly haunting reminder of the devastation that was brought upon them. Too often attempts...
Could we just have, like... Could we just celebrate a holiday? Is it possible to just celebrate a holiday and get together with family and friends and have a good day? Is it possible to do that in Massachusetts? Seriously. Is it a crime to celebrate a holiday with your family and friends?
To highlight difficult chapters in our joint history are silenced. The National Day of Mourning was founded in 1970 by Wamsuta Frank James of the Aquinnah Wampanoag, and it challenges us to confront the real history behind Thanksgiving and to honor the resilience of indigenous peoples who continue to lead, organize, and build community here.
I can't. Let's see some of these comments.
Story we
Boston City. Oh my God. Is there a nation on this earth that hasn't been colonized at some point in time? Send help to those of us who are normal in Massachusetts. National embarrassment. Happy Thanksgiving, Boston. I find retards was up. Oh my God. They are attacking their own presence. White libs love smelly. Yep, there you go. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. It's insane. National, where's the article on this? Could you imagine? 2 years in a row of this. The scary thing is, here's why stuff like this is important. Over periods of time, the more, like, this is only on Off the Press. Let's see here. Let's see if every other news station picked this up. I'm glad my CPU... Let me check my heats really quickly. Oh, sorry about that. All right, we're at 73, 75. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. Is this the same video?
Story we
Yeah. Let's go to this Off the Press. Okay, this is more
story
national
we
stuff.
tell.
Ridiculous. All right. But anyway, what I was going to say is this. You know what the problem is with stuff like this, in my opinion, is that the more this becomes normalized, the more and more tradition you lose. You see what I'm saying? So, like, they're trying to control people with their language and these, you know, rebranding of these holidays. That's what's happening. And the more and more this continues, the sadder and sadder and sadder it gets. Like, are we going to lose Christmas? Are we going to lose Halloween? Are we going to lose Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day? Like Easter? Like, what are we going to do? Rebrand every single holiday in Massachusetts? Massachusetts is it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Michelle Wu has had 5 people she appointed arrested. Yes. It's nuts. You know what? I want to talk to you guys about something, actually. So here, the situation with these towns. I covered this in a video a number of weeks ago. But what's happening is they are trying to, both Michelle Wu and Maura Healey are in a position to try to convince people that Prop 2.5 is a problem. That's what they're doing. That is what they're doing. That's why they're bringing it up. And that's why I said in a previous video that this is the first time that Prop 2.5 is up on the chopping block ever. Ever. This is something that is never talked about. Okay, so it's very bold of them to talk about it. But the reason that they're doing that is because if they were to... This is what I think is going to happen. I'm going to give you a prediction right now. And I would say 99% of my prediction has come true. I predicted a year ago that we would be seeing rent control. All of a sudden, it's on the ballot. They're going to do what they're going to try to do with rent control. So I'm going to do a full video on rent control, but I'm going to give you some of my, like, what I think is happening right now. So in terms of rent control, the state is trying a blanket-wide, statewide allowance for towns to implement rent control in their municipality, their city, whatever it may be. So essentially what's happening is the rent control ban is going to be lifted from Massachusetts. It does not mean that every single town is going to implement rent control. But what it does mean is that certain areas and neighborhoods could implement rent control. I could see, and I'm saying you could clip this. I'm going to tell you right now, the same exact thing is going to happen with Prop 2.5. They are going to do a statewide or blanket-wide bill or policy, or God forbid, a mandate, eliminating the necessity of having Prop 2.5, and they're and what they're going to do is they're going to let towns determine whether or not they're going to get rid of it. That's what's going to happen in the future. I will guarantee you that's what's going to happen into the future, because instead of looking inward and seeing why all of these towns are behind on their budgets, even on an individual basis, and why the towns that are not do not need an override, they would rather pass a blanket allowance of towns, municipalities, cities to eliminate Prop 2.5 so that these towns don't have to deal with overrides every single year. I will guarantee you that's going to happen. It's going to go from rent control to that. That's what's going to happen. I'll guarantee you that is what's going to happen. Okay? And again, I'm in a town that is looking for that. I don't want my daughter's school to lose programs. I don't want our town to lose the library, but I don't want it to be up to the taxpayers to make that determination of whether the town could fund itself or not. I think that maybe not even in the short term. I think it's bad overall. And I really think what needs to happen here is the state needs to step up and step in and say, hey, like, we're going to take money from here and put it to here. Like, they have to do an audit on this. They have to look at this pragmatically, because this isn't one or two towns, it's 50 plus towns. And eliminating Prop 2.5 on a statewide level and then letting the towns determine whether or not they want to eliminate Prop 2.5 in a certain town or municipality, it's going to be, so it's much less work for the state to do that versus looking at these towns on an individual basis. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. But the rent control is a big problem too. Rent control has never worked. It's very bad for any single municipality that tries to implement it, because what happens is the people that are the landlords in the rent-controlled units, they don't put any money in. There's a lot of things, okay? That they don't put any money into their units at all. They let them go to shit. On top of that, when you have rent control that gets passed in a town and you're trying to build a big high-rise condo complex or whatever, these lenders, they don't even want to lend on these things. Now, what they did is, I don't want to get too deep into this because I have more to read, but what they did do is they're providing a carrot on a stick. That carrot is basically grandfathering in new projects and allowing them 5 years of not having rent control. The problem is, and I don't know if there's any lenders in here, but you could talk to almost any lender. Any single time there's an affordable housing or there's a restriction like rent control, even if it's after a few years, what happens is their underwriting process completely backfires, because in order to get the funding for these bigger projects, they need to figure out projections. They need to figure out if there's going to be a return on investment. As soon as you have a rent-controlled city or neighborhood or whatever it is, you're going to see no new development. The reason you're going to see no new development is twofold. It's number one, because there's not enough of return on investment for the developer or the builder to make any money and be protected if shit hits the fan. Number two, on the back end, when it comes to financing these projects, lenders don't want to touch it, just like they don't want to touch a 20% affordable housing in a 100-unit complex. That's all that it is. So it's going to be a massive problem. Like, I understand rents are high, and I understand something needs to be done, but the answer is not rent control. The answer is building more units so that And removing regulations and red tape. That is the biggest component. You could talk to any developer. I've been in real estate for forever, okay? You could talk to any developer, any builder. That is the biggest holdup. Because from the time that they buy land or buy a building, they tear the building down and they start their project, it's like 5 to 7 years if it's a big project between the time that they get started to the time that they get their certificate of occupancy, which is insane. So how could you build enough units? How is it possible to build enough units to alleviate the need for housing when it takes multiple years to get there? You can't do it that way. You need multiple projects going on at the same time in the same location and provide housing to everybody so that there's a surplus, not a deficit. It's a supply and demand problem. These people try to figure out all of these mental gymnastics and all of this stuff to try to not blame supply and demand. Economists in the entire world knows that it is a supply and demand problem. That's all that it is. That's all. They're bums. You're right. That's it. They're bums. Oh, God, it pisses me off so much. It really does. It really, really does. Did you guys see this too? So there was a report. I want to pull up this report. If I could find it. John is a friend of mine. I don't think he cares about sharing this video. Also, I want to check out one more thing. Is the static going away? 2026, actually, before I get into this, I want to tell you, so 2026, I'm trying to do, this is what I want to do. It's not a guarantee, and I may have said this before, but I want to be able to live stream more. I want to be able to get this dialed. For me to get live streaming dialed in is if I do it more. And I just don't think that I do it enough to get dialed in. That's why we're having a static problem right now on top of a computer problem. So what I want to do is eventually upgrade my studio, upgrade the camera, upgrade the lens, upgrade, my computer to a point and just be able to get all this stuff dialed in a little bit better. And do more live streams. And I also want to get to a point. So since my wife went back to work, I've been having a little bit of issues because she works 3 days a week. She works Wednesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. Saturdays, I don't, I do real estate stuff on the weekend. I'm able to do that from home. But Wednesdays and Thursdays, I have to get more dialed in so I could film almost every single day, which I can do. It's between being sick and between having computer problems. That's why I've been behind on videos. But, I just want to get to a point where I could level out these issues, get better at live streaming, and get to a point where I could talk through some of these things and then also do it. Obviously, I can't do a deep dive while I'm live streaming on these things, right? But talk about kind of what I'm going to talk about and then provide you with, a deep dive into these issues. So that's what I'm trying to work on. I was going to see if I could get like a grant. I was looking at like state-run grant programs for not that I'm some independent journalist, but I was looking at state-run grants, but I could almost guarantee you they're not going to want to give me money. So I got to see what I could do to figure it out and just get to a point where I could. And realistically, I know a lot of us work during the week, myself included. So I would probably want to live stream on days like I don't want to mess with Jess's live streams, Jess Machado. I know she was live today. So sorry if anybody came over here, but I'd ultimately like to do it 1 or 2. That's what I'm trying to say, and just talk to you guys. But yeah. So there was a new report. Let me see here. Actually, Biden team. This was Logan.
So, hey, I'm here at Terminal E at Logan Airport on a Sunday morning. It's May 12th, I believe. And, this is
back in 24.
Terminal E here, filled with illegal immigrants. You might remember I was here.
I mean, how could you let this happen? How could you let something like this happen? Imagine the people that... it's funny. You got to think about the people that have never been to Massachusetts or flying to Massachusetts for like a business thing or whatever, and then you're greeted with this
in early March, and it was also filled with illegal immigrants at that time. And, of course, they told us that when they would open the Cass Recreation Center, that the Cass Recreation Center would solve this problem. They told us when they opened the shelter on Farnsworth Street in Fort Point Channel that that would solve this problem. And now they're shipping some of these illegal immigrants here to a prison in the small little town of Norfolk. Let's see if we can give you an up-close view of what's happening here. There are a lot of minor children sleeping at the airport, which is, of course, heartbreaking. We also don't know who really is sleeping at the airport, which could be a national security problem, as we know. And
of course,
this will never stop on its own.
So you see what's going on. So now there was a report. It says bombshell report alleges Biden team forced airports to house migrants. Let's see if we can find this. Biden-Harris. Oh, here we go. Oh, shit. We got a whole article here. It says, as soon as he was sworn into office on January 2020, President Biden and his administration immediately undertook what could only be described as an open border policy, publicly celebrating its wholesale reversal of the first Trump administration's efforts to enforce America's existing immigration laws. The predictable result was millions of illegal aliens surging across the border and then subsequently being released into the country without proper vetting or oversight. You could, that's putting it lightly. Inevitably, the Biden-Harris administration found itself in a self-inflicted crisis as illegal aliens or of unknown backgrounds or intentions poured into local communities that were ill-equipped to handle them. All right, here we go. As the crisis unfolded, the Biden-Harris administration took steps to divert certain incoming aliens away from the overwhelmed land ports of entry to domestic airports. Unvetted aliens were also transported, many by plane, away from the southern border and deeper into the United States. The committee's investigations found that Biden-Harris policies had in fact made airports less secure 3 years ago. It says, first, the committee found that the airports in 3 Democrat-led cities, John F. Kennedy, JFK in New York, here we go. We're quoted directly right here. Logan International Airport in Boston and O'Hare International Airport in Chicago. Of course, Chicago. Avoid Chicago at all costs. They don't want to put criminals in jail there. All 3 received federal... Ted Cruz was working on something with this, and I think he was battling it out with Ed Markey at one time. All 3 received federal grants and are regulated by the Federal Aviation Administration. Further, the Biden White House, through the FAA, pressured Logan O'Hare. They pressured Logan O'Hare and at least 8 other airports to house illegal aliens as they arrived in the United States. When asked by the administration to house aliens, the Massport, yes, that's what it was, Massport, Logan's airport's operator, insisted that doing so would pose security and operational risks. The FAA, Democratic state and local officials, overruled Massport's warnings and allowed aliens to sleep overnight in Logan airport terminals for more than a year. Wow. That's not good, guys. Specifically, Biden directed DOT and the FAA to inventory available facilities, both federally owned and not, that could be used to house aliens at airports. Asked the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration to partner with the state officials to track bus companies that transported illegal aliens from the border and to help them create a pamphlet informing aliens of their rights that could be distributed on buses. Told the Federal Transit Administration to identify ways that the local transit authorities could use federal grants to transport illegal aliens. This is insane. I'm going to save this article. Third, while refusing to declare an emergency, the Biden-Harris administration diverted federal air marshals away from keeping the flying public safe and instead sent them to the southern border where illegal immigration had ballooned because of the administration's overboard immigration policies. Air marshals were assigned to the border, some involuntarily for a month or more at a time. The Biden-Harris administration made airports and aviation less secure by allowing and encouraging aliens to shelter at U.S. airports, by allowing improperly vetted aliens to fly into throughout the United States, and by diverting needed federal aid or federal air marshals to the border to address the border crisis. The Biden-Harris, I'll tell you what, guys, that border problem, I mean, that was bad. That was bad. It was bad. And the crazy part about this entire thing, you know, this border crisis, is that, you know, somebody new gets into office and they try to clean it up, and maybe their methods and the advertising of it and the way that they're doing it is, I think that in the public's eye, I think that a lot of people are in support of, you know, removing people that shouldn't be here illegally. But I think that the way, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong. You know, I think that the way that they're going about it is not necessarily wrong, but the issue has become, it's become such a conflated issue. And there's so many advocacy groups and activists and obviously the states are probably funding a lot of these people with grants. There's just so much public pushback from the left that it's just making it look bad. That's realistically what's happening here. It's outrageous, but is that they're trying to clean up a problem that they didn't create. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to clean up a problem that they didn't create. And obviously there's going to be some consequences to that. It is what it is. But you can't just have a whole bunch of people coming over illegally. Like, I mean, come on. Did you guys ever see what happened in Denmark? I advise you guys, I'm not going to watch the video. I'll show you the video. Hold on. You should see what happened in Denmark. Inside, let's see. Denmark solved the immigration crisis. This might be it.
Despite a liberal reputation politically.
I'm not going to watch this video because I don't want to get my channel banned. I believe this is the video. Yes, I think this is the video. You guys should watch this video. Go to Across the Globe and watch Denmark solved the immigration crisis. I would say it's painted in a somewhat bad light, okay? It definitely does. But Denmark, I'll listen to the first couple seconds. You'll hear what he says.
Despite a liberal reputation politically, Denmark now has some of the most aggressive anti-immigrant policies in Europe.
So Denmark is a country where, I don't want to spoil it on you guys, and I would watch it here. YouTube gets really funny when you watch other people's YouTube videos. That's why a lot of people that do political content don't live stream on here and react to some of these videos, because it's a DMCA problem. YouTube needs to fix this. But anyway, Denmark had a awful immigration problem where the people coming over wanted the people of Denmark to assimilate to them. That's what was happening. And remember, the key here is in Denmark, they are or were and probably still are a very left-leaning society politically. But what happened is so many people came in that it was causing throughout their country. So they implemented the absolute like they put these people up on the crucifix is basically what happened here, because they were losing the fabric of their country is what was happening. People weren't speaking the language. They were doing and listen, you know, your culture is fine, but like you should at least have to like somewhat assimilate into another country. They really put their foot down. This is, let me put this in the chat if I can. I highly advise watching this video to see. Now, I'm not saying we should copy their methods exactly, but we should. The thing is, again, very liberal government, very liberal people. Even they were fed up with what the hell was going on because they were losing the fabric of their country. It was gone. Somebody, thank you. Thanks, Matt, for the $5. I got to South America a few times, or I go to South America and talk to real people. They knew what the Biden administration was giving them at the border for free. Yes, of course. You know what the crazy thing is? Yeah, guys, watch this video. I'll get permission maybe one day and watch this video too. I'll reach out to the channel. Usually they're pretty cool with that, but I would highly advise watching this video. But anyway, what the hell was I? Oh, what I was saying, I said this before. The people, I would say 80% of my friends are legal immigrants. They came here a long time ago with their families. They did what they needed to do, and that's it. Like, that's what they did. These people are the most upset over Americans. They are the most upset about what happened and what is happening. On top of that, I will tell you right now, you want to talk to somebody about communism or talk to somebody about socialism, talk to somebody that came over States a number of years ago and escaped communism and escaped socialism and get their opinion of what is happening in Massachusetts. They could, they're like bloodhounds. They could sniff this out instantaneously. Okay. They sniff this out instantaneously, and they are the most upset. Listen, the static, I'm sorry about the static, all right? I cannot control the static. I don't know what's going on. I have a computer problem. We're working on it, okay? Just bear with me. But anyway, they're the most radicalized group of people, even over American citizens, because on top of doing what they needed to do to come here and assimilate here and do everything that they needed to do legally, they escaped socialism, they escaped communism, and they moved to a country that effectively didn't have it, and now they're in a state that's trying to implement every single communist or socialist policy there is. And it's insane. Thank you for the $10, man. I appreciate that. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. But this is a great video. I'm actually going to save this video too, because I'll reach out to them and see if I can watch it. By the way, I don't know if you guys use, I use this thing called, I just got it. It's called Raindrop. It's like, so when I'm like looking at news at night, or I'm looking through videos at night, sometimes I don't have enough time to read the whole thing, do a deep dive on it. Raindrop is like a aggregator where you could submit all of your bookmarks into this platform. You could also search the platform. It has some like AI capabilities as well. And it's basically a bookmark saver. But it's just, in my opinion, substantially better than using like Chrome or something like that. It's like better. But yes, I apologize about the static. I don't know what the hell's going on. Here's another one. Well, y'all know this person. Immigrants' rights advocates say mass lawmakers must formally bar police from working with ICE. So again, they don't have enough money to support these towns. They don't have enough money to support the, let's say, the attorneys that are representing people, but they have enough money to create funds to stop people that came here illegally from being deported. That's realistically what's happening. Of course, this is a Boston Globe article. Yep. Snap, here we go. The Snap review of companies with most Snap benefits in the state shows many of high employed companies in retail, healthcare. I think that the Snap program is being abused in Massachusetts, because if you look at the poverty rate versus the number of the poverty rate versus Snap, the number of people on Snap is substantially higher. And I think that the state, I think realistically, I think there's some, I think that there's some credit to them creating this incentive framework for these people. Like, I'm not saying that they're, I'm not saying that they're doing this on purpose, but I think that to a point that they are, right? They're creating an incentive framework where they're basically buying vote. I mean, it's a great strategy. Like if you could buy your own votes to keep you elected, it's a really good strategy, because it's almost not provable. It's almost not provable. But I think that's what's happening. Look at the poverty rate versus the SNAP benefits. Use Proton VP on your cell phones. I use Proton. I was using Brave browser. I switched to Edge because Brave was giving me an issue with YouTube. The only reason I'm not using Chrome is because I like vertical tabs, and I like having pin tabs vertically, and I know Chrome is working on that, but it's just not there. So I've been using Edge just temporarily. But I've used Brave, I use Firefox. All of those browsers have major issues when it comes to playing YouTube videos for some reason, and the workarounds are just a pain. And on top of that, the speed of them is terrible. I use AdGuard for like my websites on my phone and all that stuff. Yeah, Firefox is great until it crashes, 100%. I've tried Vivaldi, I tried Opera, I tried all of these browsers. So I also had no issues with Brave and YouTube, but then I started having issues once I implemented my other background. Like I have an ad guard thing on my desktop as well as on my browsers, and they weren't playing nicely together and but blocking ads, but I think a mixture of the two was causing some conflict on YouTube. I know Microsoft Edge tracks everything I do. I've disabled a majority of that, as well as using some scripts in order to disable that as well. That's it. I think no matter what we do, we're going to be tracked. Like I'll just call it like it is. It sucks. But anyway, yeah. So let me get up to, what was the next thing I wanted to show you guys? Hold on. 1 second. Oh, this one. Did you guys see this? I was talking about this yesterday because I have a multifamily in Somerville under contract, and they're worried this may happen in Somerville. A couple people emailed me in regards to this too. Medford plans bi-weekly trash pickup to cut waste and costs starting July 1st of 27. Medford. Do any of you live in Medford, by the way? How do you feel about this? This is nuts. Officials expect over 1 million in earnings by diverting 20. Imagine your public services having to get cut in order to keep your town funded. This is what's happening. Is Medford behind on budget too? Is that why they're doing this? Is anybody here from Medford? So what they're going to do, bi-weekly trash pickup. Listen, if you have a family, okay, well, it's me, my wife, we have 2 kids. We have so much trash per week, okay? Between food for lunch, between just things, right? I cannot imagine a bi-weekly trash pickup. I cannot, what's this say? 22% of waste, mostly food scraps, to compost. So they have to, let me read this whole thing. 22% of waste, mostly food scraps, to compost, supporting the city's zero waste goals from its 2022 climate action plan. Some councilors and residents worry about poor communication, odors, and rats, especially after recent tax hikes, but leaders highlight composting success with over 8,000 households participating, promise more outreach. So you're telling me, let me get this straight. Oh my God. So you're telling me they're going to pick up garbage bi-weekly and they want you to compost outside of your house? I got to look something up. Hang on a second. I got to look something up, guys. Let me see if I can find this. That seems out. I feel like that is just an invitation for rodents. 1 second. Yeah, you're going to save money, but your town is going to be infested with rats. And you know what? Somerville is really close. If Somerville take... they're going to start counting rats in the census. Oh my God. What does this say here? Sorry, I'm trying to find more on this. I don't know, guys. In a city, they don't do this in many areas, it seems like. San Francisco, Seattle, Portland. I think this is going to be rat infested. I do. Let's see if anybody's talking about this. What's not mentioned in this article is that Medford also increased property taxes last year, and now is Medford behind on budget? Is Medford behind on budget. Let's use some AI here. Medford voters did approve two Prop 2.5 overrides in the November 2024 election. The overrides were specifically intended to prevent budget cuts. They're having a problem. Passed. This override secured $3.5 million a year. The funds are earmarked for Medford Public Schools, Department of Public Works. They're having an issue. The 2024 overrides were the first since Prop 2.5 was enacted in 1980, according to city officials. The need arose because fixed costs for salaries and benefits have grown faster than tax revenue, leading to a structural deficit. While the overrides provide much-needed funding, some critics view them as a temporary fix for... Yes, exactly. Exactly. So... Wow. I cannot believe this is happening. Where's that? What are people saying about this? I don't understand how you need your trash picked up every week. I could easily put my trash once a month. And I don't even know what to say. Two people, one dog. My dog never brings out the trash. If property values are... Yeah. And they want to triple... Yes, the excise tax. Oh, my God. Yeah, those... Is it just me? Do you see the size of these? Holy shit. Do you see the size of these? These are like a quarter of the size of a regular trash bin. Medford is nice. Yeah, I like Medford too. I like Medford too. Size of the compost bins. Medford is getting everything they voted for. Who is their mayor? Mayor's office. Mayor Brianna. Hang on. All right. Who is this? I don't even know. What, Mia? Oh, hang on one second. Okay, hang on. Sorry, my wife needs me. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. Official account of Medford Matt. All right, let's see. Again, they haven't... January. They haven't posted since January of 2024. What's this? Have you seen, speaking of oh, here we go. There you go. Man. I don't know. I think they got to clean up, like, this state's got to do something with the budget. The other thing the state needs to do something with is the needle problem. Do you see the amount of needles we've given out? It's crazy. Massachusetts needles.
An incident where a child stepped on a needle in a South Boston park is bringing new focus to a citywide problem. WBZ's Paul Burton is live for us in South Boston tonight. Paul,
I remember
know you
this.
met up with some volunteers today who spent their day picking up needles all across the city.
Yeah, and this group takes great pride in what they do, for many as both personal and purposeful, knowing that they were once on the streets, living on the streets, that they are now.
Wait. Piss off with the troll. Who's trolling? Hang on. Let me bring this guy up. Hold on. Tom. Where all right, whatever. I don't. Anyway, there's a. Here we go. Syringe City. Boston hands out 4.5 million needles during Mayor Wu's tenure. 4.5 million needles. That's a lot of needles. 106,632 needles per month in 2022. 1.25 in 23. That's crazy. God. Regarding yearly distribution costs, BPHC does not retrieve city-appropriated funds for the purpose of syringe distribution. The funds that we use come from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, not have any responsive records. Of course. The Commission's budget line for risk reduction and overdose prevention was approved at just north of $2 million. I wonder who's supplying the needles. I wonder who is supplying the needles. A 4-year-old boy had to undergo a HIV test. Yeah, that's that kid, that poor kid. Could you imagine that family, man? $4.5 million needles. That's insane. That's a lot of needles. I mean, I feel bad for these people, but Jesus, that's a lot of needles. Holy God. Who has the needle contract? Oh, too. Who has the needle contract? Let me see if I can look that up. Who has the needle contract? Who has the needle contract in Boston? Needle cleanup services in Boston. Mobile Sharps team. This is a BPHC team that responds to requests for discarded needles Back to work cleaning program. Program from Newmarket Business Improvement District. Back to work. Hmm. Hang on. Oops. Is that who it is? Back to work? Huh. I'll have to do a deeper dive into this and take a look at what's going on. But I'd be curious. Rise, Massachusetts. Boston harm reduction tool. What's this? Harm reduction. Oops. So who is this again? R-I-Z-E? Victory Programs, a Boston-based nonprofit agency, works to improve the lives of individuals and families facing homelessness with drug... Rise, Massachusetts. $36,000. So this must be one of the... Who are they donating to? Marty Walsh, Democratic State Committee, Mara Healy, Michelle Wu. Oh, that's Rise Inc. That might be something different. Oh, these aren't all from the same. I'd have to look more into it. But anyway, I could do that. There's a lot of needles. I covered the Connecticut, actually. Needles are $15 per 100. Moderna makes the needles? I know they obviously make needles, but I don't know if that's exactly where they're coming from. A public records request? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you something about public records requests. They don't work in Boston. I've had a FOIA request for the White Stadium project since the beginning of the year, and they will not release what it's going to cost. Okay? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, this homeless problem, I would assume a lot of these, it's like, it's sad. Like, there's a lot of these homeless people, and a lot of them are, I believe, unfortunately, addicted to, you got to pay, yeah. A lot of these people are addicted to drugs. The head of Rise Massachusetts is Julie Burns, who serves as the president and CEO. Julie Burns, let's see who that is. 10 grand. Menino. Coakley. Menino. Woo. Menino. Woo, 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 woo. Let's see here. How much is she giving a woo? Not a lot. At least not in that regard. Oh, there's a couple different Julie Burns. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, not a lot. $2,500. All the usual suspects though. Andrea Campbell, Mara Healy, Michelle Wu, Marty Walsh. Yep. I think Michelle Wu is probably number one. That's no surprise there, right? Absolutely no surprise. Yeah, crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of needles. I mean, that's a lot of freaking needles, guys. Oh, here we go. What's this? When was this? Oh, I think this was from a while ago. Oh, no, November 1st. Wu official indicates Boston is moving away from a harm reduction strategy amid mass cash surge. Yeah, it's scary going over there. It's bad. I mean, it's sad. It's scary. People are shitting on the street. I've seen. Oh my God. I've seen people literally walking around like women walking around in a house coat completely open. Who's this? Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. What about that island play? What? Yeah, they gotta help these people in some way, manner, or form. Realistically, I think that these people need like some kind of rehabilitation, get back into the workforce if they're homeless. More importantly, like I don't understand how we could have so many homeless people when we had hundreds of thousands, like we had thousands of people inside of these shelters. Like why weren't these people in the shelters as well? Your lawyers and judges practice the same magic. Fraud on paper, yes. Yes. Big problem. I think that I don't know if the audit will be a silver bullet, but I think it would help. I think the audit would definitely help. I think it's 100% necessary. There's no doubt about it. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But at least it's being talked about. That's the big deal. At least this is being talked about. These towns, I'm happy. I'm really happy about that. Question of the year of 2025. How could you possibly know what is true and what is not anymore? That's a good question. You don't. I mean, let's be fair. It's been like that forever. So, I mean, look at it that way. I mean, you think of it this way. You think about all the newspapers. You think about all of the television stations. They're all the same. The 90% of them are under the same damn umbrella. I mean, you're getting propaganda no matter where you go. You could consider this propaganda too. I'm just giving my opinions on these things, but somebody's got to do it. I mean, it's crazy. We all know the monies for these programs are taxpayer funded through NGOs. Yes. 100%. I'm going to take a better look in these. What about the suburbs of Boston? What about the suburbs? Hang on one second. Okay, whatever. My wife is messaging me. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Oh, this is how we did a deep dive into this. Healy's ambition, a bill taxpayers had to pick up. Massport spent almost $780,000 on security, transportation, and cleaning up during the migrant squatting. I'm curious what the hotels, like, I'm willing to bet. I mean, those hotels, I've had people send me pictures. Let me see if I can find one. Hold on. Cockroach. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? This was back in May. Hold on. I want to show you something. I hope I saved the picture. People sent me photos of all the cockroaches in some of these emergency shelters. It was gross. No, I can't get it. I have it somewhere. I just don't know where the hell it is. But I'm curious what the condition of these hotels look like. I bet there are pilots. I bet they left them in it was like a pile of dog shit that I'm willing to bet the state had to clean up as well. Like let's be fair here. I'll almost guarantee you the state had to clean it up. April. No, I can't find it. I'll look another day. I've shared it before, I believe. But obviously Logan had the same issue. She squandered close to $4 billion in taxpayer funds for foreign freeloader flop houses. That's an understatement. I think it's way more than $4 billion. $4 billion, and I've talked about this before, the $4 billion is just what's on paper. Like that's like quantifiable data that you could actually look up. The back end cost is I would say just as much. I think it's just as much. Easily. We now learn, thanks to a congressional investigation, that she blew through another $780,000 on putting up more hordes of invaders from the third world at Logan Airport in 2023. Yeah. $780,000 on security, transportation, and cleaning. Wow. Here's a there's a 900. Here's a tiny sample from the 955 page of crime in 2023, the year Logan Airport became flophouse number 71. Page 25, sexual assault. Page 45, drug use and unregistered guns. Page 193, gunshots outside of Healy hotels. Page 141, drug use. Page 155, gang violence, physical assault, gun used as a threat, and so on. I don't understand. Like, why are they... It's crazy that they enable this. The Hilton in Marlborough, I know that was a bad one. I actually pulled some records. What? Hang on. Which one was it in Marlborough? Was it this one? Rita, I missed. I need to get another monitor. That's something else I need. Please, someone, could you respond to? Hold on. Explosion went off again. Where? I'm not running for governor. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, really. Where was this explosion? What town are you in? We need a difference of opinion because, yes, exactly. Like, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong on this. I think that you have to have opinions from both sides of the aisle here, like at least from people that aren't lunatics, right? Like, in order to come up with good strategies. Like, you can't just... if everybody yeses you to death, I don't care if it's in business, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, I don't care what it is, you need some kind of discourse in order to come up with good ideas. In Everett, Malden areas? Really? Hang on. Oh, I saw this. Did you guys see this? This company went to go and fill, they pumped 400 gallons of home heating oil into a basement of a house in Medford instead of Malden. Oh my God. Look at this. Crazy. This has 1.6 million views. Oh my God. Shop vac. $1,200 worth of oil. Yeah, it's probably going to be a $200,000 cleanup. I don't see anything in regards to an explosion. Let me just type in Massachusetts. I don't see anything in regards to that. Maine. Yeah, that's an old one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I can't find it. Yeah, that's an expensive. Yeah, I mean, you're talking mega money to clean that up. That's crazy. Because they also have to. You figure after the cleanup, they also probably have to do the oil's not going to be able to be used, so they probably have to, put the oil somewhere as well. Guaranteed the delivery person. Let's find out. Let's find out. Medford oil spill. Hundreds of gallons. All right. What's this?
That the driver screw up. The driver, he don't know what he's doing.
Understandably, the owner is frustrated. Thanksgiving is just a couple
that
days,
sucks.
And instead of family members, he now has 385 gallons of oil inside of his home. Instead of cars filling up his driveway here, it is now surrounded by caution tape, and all because a driver delivered oil to the wrong home. The Nguyen family displaced just days before Thanksgiving.
I feel cry now. Everything is messed up in the basement and smell. I don't know how long we can go back.
It all happened Monday morning when a driver for the company Faucet Energy plugged into the home at
Faucet Energy. Yeah, they messed up. They messed up.
48 Linwood Street in Medford. and started pumping oil meant for 48 Linwood Street in Malden.
Put 385 gallons of oil into a basement with no oil tank.
Family members inside rushed out with questions.
Nobody tell you to come in and pump the oil in here. Why are you pumping?
He just asked the owner before he pump. He just keep pumping.
Take a look at the over 380 gallons of home heating oil now coating the floor in the basement of this 3-family home.
When you're filling up an oil tank, once it starts to get full, you'll hear the whistle. And that, he's the driver that shut down the oil. There's no whistle.
Yeah, because so when you fill in, you guys probably know this, but when you fill an oil tank at a house, there's usually the fill line that sticks on the outside of the house, but there's also the other line, which is like the breather tube, so that the oil could go into the tank. And I think what happens is as it reaches its peak, you could kind of hear that coming out of that breather tube or pipe. And that's what happened. There was no tank. So this is more than likely what happened. Whoever removed the tanks, they never patched the holes. They probably left the pipes sticking on the outside of the house. This guy went there, went to the wrong address, delivered the oil, and started pumping the oil into the house because the pipes were there, but there was no tank. The tank was removed.
You look down for a second, you look up, and there's 385 gallons in the basement.
The mistake triggered a large hazardous material response in the neighborhood.
The delivery people cannot see the inside of a basement when they fill a tank. They fill from the exterior and they go to the delivery fill pipe. That should be filled with something impermeable such as concrete.
Environmental attorney Susan Crane.
Concrete? What are you, nuts? They should just remove the pipe and patch the house.
Also shared who is responsible for all this damage.
Who's responsible?
The oil company is responsible here. These facts are egregious.
But who did it?
This has nothing to do with homeowners coverage.
The family is able to stay with other family members who live close.
They didn't say who did it. I mean, we know the company who did it, but we don't know specifically who did it. Having a fill tube with no tank is unlawful by the company that removed the tank. Is that true? I would think so, because of something like this happening. I would think so. I was thinking the same thing. But it does happen. Let's be fair. And it could have, let's also think of it this way. Maybe they passed some kind of code after the fact and a company did it. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here, right? They did it post some kind of new code. Maybe that's the case too. But that's crazy. Yeah, they just pumped it into the cellar. Could you imagine? Recycle. I don't know much about it. Maybe you could, maybe you can't. I don't know about the explosion. There's no information on that anywhere. That house is now a fire danger to the neighborhood. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the delivery company's at fault there, for sure. I'm just curious who at the delivery company decided to do it. That's nuts. I've never seen that happen before. I've never seen something like that happen before. That's really crazy. It's sad, too, for the family. Really sad. It's really sad. What's going on with this? I don't really follow much national stuff, so suspect in shoot. I saw that this is sad. 2 people died. Terrorist attack? Who was the guy that did it? Suspect in shooting a National Guard. Who was the guy that did it? I've been kind of checked out. What? An Afghan national who previously worked with the CIA named as suspect in DC National Guard shooting. What? This guy? No. Won't play. Why?
Authorities are continuing to investigate every aspect of this shooting. Fox 5's Nana Santubonsu is at Farragut Square with what we are learning about the suspect tonight.
Homa, we are here on the corner of I and 17th Street where you see this growing memorial. This is where investigators say the suspect, Ramanullah Lochinwall, opened fire on two National Guard members. FBI Director Kash Patel is calling this an investigation of terrorism as we're learning more about this suspect,
Yeah, no
who's
kidding.
originally from Afghanistan with CIA ties.
We will not stop until we interview anyone and everyone associated with the subject.
29-year-old Ramanullah Lochinwall is the man federal law enforcement has in custody for the...
We need to do something in this country. We really do. You know, the amount of violence that has been happening over the last year it's out of control. It's out of control. I mean, these young people are dying for no reason.
Ambush attack of Sarah Beckstorm and Andrew Wolf.
Look at these people are in their 20s. They have to be.
In the nation's capital. Across the country, over in Washington state, the FBI and other federal agencies executing a number of search warrants and interviewing people who lived in the home with Lochinwall. DHS Secretary Christine Noem confirming that Lochinwall entered the country in September of 2021.
There you go. There you go. Entered the country in September of 2021.
During the Biden administration's Operation Allies Welcome, an effort supporting Afghan nationals who worked with the American military.
There is confirmation now that the subject had a relationship in Afghanistan with partner forces.
Sources tell Fox News that Lochinwall was part of a unit working in Kandahar in southern Afghanistan with the CIA.
They were highly trusted by the CIA, and they accomplished missions. They acted as guides, they acted as interpreters, they acted as sometimes as combatants, and they helped the agency out in the OPs, the outposts, way out in lands that were kind of denied areas, that they were not under U.S. control, to counter the operations of the Taliban.
Jack Tumarchio is the former Undersecretary of Homeland Security. He says when...
I mean, it shouldn't be happening at all, right? Like this shouldn't be happening at all. It's really sad to see, you know, especially right before Thanksgiving. I didn't watch any of this because I was, you know, we had a couple people over, but it's really, really sad. Cash is compromised, maybe. I don't follow national stuff that much, to be honest with you, but it's really sad.
When the U.S. pulled troops out of Afghanistan 4 years ago, guys like Lochinwall came too.
When Afghanistan fell, the Taliban took over. The members of the Zero units were in jeopardy because the Taliban made a point of trying to find out who these people were. And in many cases, they did. So if your name was on a list that you had served with the Zero unit, you were probably on somebody's death list in the Taliban. You were going to be killed.
This individual is in this country for one reason and one reason alone, because of the disastrous withdrawal from the Biden administration and the failure to vet anyway, in any
We didn't do any vetting either.
way, shape, or form. This individual and countless others.
Now, following Wednesday's shooting, President Trump has done two things. One, he has asked ICE to stop the application. These are immigration applications of all Afghan nationals. He's also directed his administration to re-examine the green cards of immigrants from, quote, countries of concerns. We're told this is a list of over a dozen countries, including Afghanistan. Fox News also is reporting that Lochinwall's asylum application was also approved this year by the Trump administration. He is currently in the hospital, but once released, we're told is facing a number of charges, including assault with the intent to kill.
Crazy. How do we allow this to happen? Like, this shouldn't be happening at all. Like, I understand, like, individual instances that happen in cities and stuff like that, but, like, this kind of stuff shouldn't happen at all. It's crazy. My coverage of Massachusetts is more than a full-time job. Yes, I would love to cover more of New England just to draw, you know, kind of dots on a map of, you know, similar policies that other, you know, lunatic states are implementing. But maybe I'll do some more in the future, maybe next year, and see what we could come up with. But yeah, Massachusetts, there's enough content here for a lifetime, for sure. I mean, can I ask you guys an honest question? I need to ask you, could somebody tell me what is happening? I don't follow, you guys may know this, and many of you have requested me to do a video on this. What is happening with Turtle Boy and the Karen Read stuff? Like, what the hell is happening there? I've seen him, I don't even think I follow him. Hang on. Aiden, do I follow him? No. What is happening here with this guy? I saw this post. It popped up on my newsfeed. It says, as you may have seen, some embarrassing videos of me from a traumatic night many months ago have been shared on this platform. The last thing I wanted to do is ever publicly discuss what was supposed to be private, a scary incident. I said I never wanted to turn this topic into content, but unfortunately, I have been lied about and defamed in front of too many people. Isn't he getting sued, or like, isn't something bad happening to this guy just for trying to like advocate for Karen Read? Like, what happened to this guy? Court approves asylum claims. You know what the funny thing is about asylum claims and asylum seekers? These same people come here from their war-torn country or whatever the hell it is, and then they go back in the summertime over there to vacation. So how bad could it possibly be? Think about it. I see it happen all the time. Don't know about Turtle Boy and don't care. Yeah, I don't really follow. I just saw this pop up and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I have to, maybe Jess knows. I don't know. Don't even go there. Turtle Boy is facing witness intimidation charges from his coverage of the Karen Read trial. Really? I don't know. That seems crazy. The court Huh. Yeah, I didn't watch anything on the Karen Read. I didn't watch it. Oh, sorry, I forgot to share my screen. I didn't watch anything on the Karen Read stuff at all. I have no idea about Karen Read. I have no freaking clue. I have no clue. But I'm just like, I know he was reporting on it. That was a mess. The way that probably know way more than me. I tried to stay away from it. But based on like what I've seen and snippets of what I've seen, it seems like that entire case was just a complete mess. Big mess. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm just curious what happened. Brady celebrates 25 years of avoiding family on Thanksgiving. I'll tell you what, Patriots are, I mean, I don't watch a ton of football, but they're looking good. Oh, here we go. Organizers at National, of course, Day of Mourning in Plymouth push back on conventional Thanksgiving narratives. Great. Yes, let's ban Thanksgiving in Massachusetts. Yes, that's what's going to be next. We're going to ban Thanksgiving. Crazy. Oh, this one.
Has done. Don't think that anything Donald Trump has done, whether it's his targeting of sanctuary cities or the militarization of D.C., this has nothing to do with public safety.
Oh, okay.
It has nothing to do with law and order.
Okay.
When you are disappearing people from the streets of Somerville, when you are targeting people in this way, it's terrorism. And that terror, that fear that you're stoking makes us all less safe.
Okay, yes. Yes, we want more people that are violent criminals on the streets. We want to empty our prisons onto the streets, and we should just abolish all laws. The funny thing is with these people, here's the problem when it comes to these people, guys. Here is the problem. They're not mad that this is happening. They're mad that they're just not the people that are able to do it, okay? And the legal immigration. They're mad that they're not in power. So they're doing everything humanly possible to try to contradict what the federal government is doing. But if they were in power, they would be doing the exact same thing, except it would be 10,000 times worse. Because if I went on a news stations, or even if I wouldn't even be able to have this YouTube channel, because guess what would have happened? They would have taken down my YouTube channel instantaneously. That's what would have happened. These people don't. They want freedom of speech, but they want it isolated to themselves. Any levels of you could see this with that article I read about Michelle Wu. The problem is these people want to control the narrative, and they don't want any pushback at all. That's why Michelle Wu lives out on a reservation on Instagram and tries to block every single freaking comment that there is that has any kind of negative discourse. It's the same exact reason why she's not on Twitter. It's the same exact reason why she's probably going to be on Facebook. Maybe I'll even do a video on this. If you see what she posts on Facebook and the negative discourse that she gets on Facebook versus the positive views that she gets on Instagram, it's very telling. And the reason it's telling is because she doesn't have the opportunity to mute and to report and to block everybody on Facebook, and or her team doesn't. But Instagram has better filters where you could allow certain comments. You could do this and you could do that. It's the exact same reason why she's not on X, because every single time she posted something on X, she would get absolutely flamed into the pits of hell. That's what would have happened. But again, these people like Ayanna Pressley, Liz Miranda, Michelle Wu, Mara Healey, Karen Spilka, all these people, they don't want to hear. This is the problem that is happening in Massachusetts. All of these people do not want to hear what is happening on the other side of the aisle. They don't opinion of somebody on the other side of the aisle. And I think that is the stark difference between people on the right, people in the middle, and people on the left. The people on the left don't even want to hear out the people in the middle or the people on the right. The people on the left just want to keep on continuing to push their agenda. And again, it's not that they want to have a lawless society. It's that they want to control the laws themselves. Anything that could help their agenda and what they are doing, they will do that. If the shoe was on the other foot, okay, and hypothetically speaking, if a Republican candidate as president of the United States let a gazillion people into this country and those people were voting for Republicans, do you know what Ayanna Pressley would be out here saying? You know what she would be saying? She'd be saying, get all these people out of here. That's what she would be saying. But the fact is that that's not, and they're not in power. So they'll do every single thing that is humanly possible to try to manipulate the public in these media outlets in order to get their negativity out into the world. That's it. And by calling people a Nazi, a terrorist, all these other things, it's only amplifying the level of violence that is happening in this country. This is exactly why I'm not saying, let me just preface by saying this. Violence happens on both sides of the aisle. But in the last couple of years, it is overtly obvious that I would say 90% of the violence is coming from the left side of the aisle. And I think a lot of that has to do with the level of rhetoric and how they are turning up the political temperature. It's a huge problem. And the fact is they keep on doing it. Every single day they're on here and they have absolutely no talking points. They don't have any talking points other than Trump is bad is because the American public knows that they have absolutely trash ideas that only accommodate a number of fringe people in this country, because most of their political ideas are their own crazy ideological stances on fringe topics. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but they've been getting a lot. They're not pushing those same talking points anymore. because people don't want to hear it, because they represent 5% of what the population wants. I mean, realistically, that's what it is. So the only thing that they do is condemn every single thing that the Trump administration is doing. I mean, I basically do the same thing here in Massachusetts. I'll be fair here. But the difference is they have a coalition of people that keep on pushing the same talking points. I don't just sit here and say Maura Healey's bad. I say Maura Healey is bad because of X, Y, and Z. I say Michelle Wu is bad because of X, Y, and Z. I say Ayanna Pressley, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And they just keep on gaslighting. Presley grew up in Chicago. Is that true? So she grew up in a... Okay, now things are starting to make sense. Now things are starting to make sense. You know what I think happens? I honestly think this happens. I think the environment that you grew up in, and this you could even attribute to a different country. I think the environment that you grow up in, whether it be a city, a state, no matter what it is, I feel like you innately embody that. Okay, so if you grew up in Chicago, which is I mean, that mayor, I don't know, man. He is, I think he's one of the worst mayors in the country. Okay, I really do. He's really bad. But I think that when you grow up in that kind of climate and that kind of society, I think if you leave that climate and that state and that type of society, I think you bring that with you in some way, manner, or form. So, like, for instance, if Ayanna... Hypothetically, I don't know if that's true. Maybe she did. I think that you become used to living a certain way. And when you become used to living a certain way, you try to implement those same policies that happened where you grew up, for better or for worse, right? And the fact is, you can't talk to these people about data and statistics, because when you talk about data and statistics, you're automatically a racist, okay? Like, it's racist data. But however, if they have data or they have a methodology and you try to question that, that's like the God's word, okay? It's sad. I mean, it's really crazy. But I think that people, and if they're coming from other countries, I think they tried to live the same exact way that they lived inside of those countries when they come over here. A lot of people don't want to assimilate into American culture. You know what I mean? I mean, Jesus, there's how many times we have young kids. Okay, I'm only going to talk about this for a second here because I don't want to piss anybody off. But I can't tell you where, I shouldn't say this, but the amount of times I went somewhere, maybe or maybe not at a school, and I like go to talk to somebody, they can't even, like I can't talk to them because they don't speak any English. And they're younger than me or around the same age as me. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how could you, like, if I moved to France and I didn't know French and the majority of the population, it was 99% French speaking, how the hell am I going to survive? Like, that's what I think about. You know, I really think about that. But like when somebody's picking up their kids and I can't even communicate with them, I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying, like, Jesus, like, what the hell is going on? Really? What is going on? What is happening? It's nuts. And then the crazy thing is, and I'm not saying that these people specifically, but these people come over, they live off of our system, they fly the flag from the country that's war torn, that they're escaping, and they hate America. Like, Warren loves Mamdani. Yes, that is true. Mamdani is going to be, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Listen, I want New York to get better, but I don't know if it's going to get, like, it's okay to have ideas on trying to improve something, but those ideas, of course, things need to be tested and stuff like that. And of course, things could work in maybe one city and maybe not another. But it's pretty radical, in my opinion, what he's trying to do. Yeah, I'm sorry about the static. We all know about the static. I'm probably going to hop off. Let me see if I can figure... I feel bad. I really feel bad about the static. Thank you guys for donating, by the way. It's much appreciated. Really is. Yeah, go to Walmart in Boston, Worcester, or Springfield. Yeah, it's wild. I'll tell you what, though. I was actually... for the... I took my kids maybe 3 weeks ago to the... Dr. Seuss Museum on a Saturday. They really enjoyed it there. And I didn't know this, but there was other museums there. It was fun. But anyway, guys, that's it. I've been streaming for a while now. It's been over 2 hours. That's it for today's video, man. You know, I'm going to figure out what's going on with my system and see if I could get it corrected. And I'm going to work on that actually when I get off here and finish a little bit of work stuff too. But the static adds to the stream. Yeah, you never know. It's a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's all that it is. It's not on purpose. Radio station in Fitchburg. I drive out to Fitchburg. That's not a problem. Yeah, it could be drivers. I don't know what it is. I was saying before, I had a CPU issue. My hand speeds and all that stuff were all, I mean, my computer sounded like a jet engine. I really got to get upgrades here. I'm really pushing the envelope with what I'm trying to do in terms of performance versus stability. That's what's happening. Yeah, so I apologize about the static, but thanks for joining me today, guys. I know it was kind of random. And, but that's it, guys. I'm going to hop off. I'll try to see what's going on with my computer. I'll try to, you know, work with what I have. And that's it. So anyway, guys, nice talking to you all. Thank you for the donations. Definitely not necessary. Try to do the best that I can here. And that's it. So God bless you guys. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you spent time with your family. And we'll see you on the next one. I'll be filming next week for sure. Okay?